Nice welcome. Thank you, guys. So, without further ado, I am going to introduce the cast today that you'll meet. First, we have Creston Johnson, who plays Tomato. Our very own Naomi. Alexander Ray. You know him as D. And next we have stage producer and showrunner of Naomi, Jill Blankenship. So now that I have everybody here, there is something I have been wanting to ask forever. I mean, ever. So, Casey, are you skateboarding?
Oh, that's like the question that everyone asks me. No, I actually have a skate double. Her name is India. And if you guys were to see what I actually skated in, you would be appalled. But it looks so great on the camera, and I was actually starting lessons soon, so.
Okay. I'm telling you, I just needed to know, and I'm sure they needed to know too and wanted to. So now that we're talking about stunts, right? These past few episodes, you guys have done a lot of fighting and a lot of hurling bolts at each other. What's been the most fun doing that? All of you.
You've had a lot of fun, so I think you should go.
I think just incorporating the fights within the scene itself, right? So like the emotional content of the scene, and then applying the technique of the fight towards that, which is it's not like just okay, there's two guys, you gotta fight them, you gotta move on. It's it's Zimbadu and Naomi breaking out of a building basically, and it applies to the situation, which it's nice, it's application.
Were you happy to finally get to go man versus man against Creston?
That was my favorite part.
Oh shit, what's your favorite part?
I think I enjoyed it more than him. I think he was trying to avoid that confrontation for a while.
I don't know about that.
I was eager for it.
I don't know.
But to elaborate also on the answer, to me it's just actually being a kid all over again. Being an adult and getting to have these superpowers and for them to make you look bigger than life. Once you see the final product, it's kind of surreal. It's amazing. We did some great choreography with the fight scenes and everything, and then when they add the CGI elements in, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool getting to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a lot of fun with the powers, but the super strength is really fun because I just feel like 10 times cooler than I am. Like in the camera, you see me lifting something up, but behind me it's just like people lifting something behind me that the audience will never see, but it just makes me feel like a badass.
Well, that's practical effects, Jill, right? But the visual effects are pretty heavy. Like, are you, as showrunner, are you asking them to come up with the hand motions, or are you trying to figure out a way to direct that?
Yeah, Ava and I talked about it conceptually, about sort of how we wanted to look, and then sort of write to that as we do the scripts, and talk with the actors, and then once it's shot, we get in and sort of refine, keep thinking and working on what looks really cool.
Are there any fights that's like, no, she has to go orange. No, I want it to be orange.
I don't know if you know, but I've heard of someone named Ava DuVernay, who is a very talented director, and so she's amazing. So anything she says is going to be fantastic.
Casey, was it your first time being this physical in a role?
I'm a dancer, so I did a lot of Broadway when I was younger. So I have kind of had to learn how to be on stage and also sing and dance at the same time. But this was like my first time. And I learned fight choreography because I did a musical called Matilda when I was younger. So I knew how to move my body like that and keep a strength. But this is a little bit different. This took much more commitment. Because when you're doing powers and nothing is actually coming out of your hands, you have to truly believe it or the audience won't. So it was really more training than that versus like physical training.
Was any of it harder than you thought for any of you?
Absolutely. The fighting is the most.
Yes.
I mean,
And the training.
yeah, I mean, you expect that, right? It's like a physical endurance and all that kind of stuff. But Creston and I had a scene, and it was more of acting the performance rather than like the physical, and that was the most draining. We did like 3 takes, and we were super exhausted. And it wasn't like all this like, it was more like, so yeah.
Speaking of training, Creston, how do I keep doing it, Creston? Speaking of training, like, for so much of the season, you were this, as my daughter would say, this creepy presence on the show. And then you got to have this seismic shift to, we saw you smile. You were so deep into the creepy. How was it climbing out of that?
You know what? It's been a very interesting transition. For the first, few episodes before we do get the reveal that he's actually here to be a protector and to assist in the betterment of Naomi instead of coming to destroy her potentially. It is a big shift because honestly, I enjoy the creepy stuff more at the beginning, just because I just felt that, like we always talked about in the pilot episode, the forest scene where we have this encounter. It's just really fun as a character when you get to play a quote-unquote villainous role or give off a villainous energy. Just because I feel like there are less restrictions and you just can kind of, be a little bit more free artistically in the scope of what you want to do. But, once we've transitioned to showing him, being an ally to her, it's kind of almost like you're playing a different character now. So that's also a challenging, it's rewarding to be able to show so many different faces and I guess different levels of what you want to bring across.
It was fun seeing your face kind of crack into that smile.
Yes, it happens.
It's so funny because Creston is always smiling.
Right.
So when you see him and he comes into character, it's so serious. It's like, whoa, who's this?
Who's this? Yeah, it's like, and I enjoy that aspect because everybody that knows me knows that I'm very silly. And, seeing me walking through the woods scaring people, they're like, what's that about? So, yeah.
So does that mean that you're the clown on set?
I do clown a lot, I think. I don't know if I am the clown.
I don't think you're the clown. We laugh together a lot.
Yeah.
I think the clown, and I don't think people would expect this, is probably Barry Watson.
Now that's a tea that I did not expect.
He's the best, and he always delivers such a great performance, but he also knows how to make it so fun. Because a lot of times the show can be very dark for our characters especially. So when you have somebody who's constantly lifting you on set, it means a lot.
And that's really interesting, Jill, when I do watch the show, like a lot of shows that would have subject matter that contend this dark would be dark themselves. But this show, Puerto Rico, is painted in these bright colors,
Yeah.
Is that a conscious thing that you're doing, that dichotomy?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, something Ava and I talked about early on and talk about still in the show is that it is this dichotomy. It is serious and Stacy, but it's also, we always try and come from a place of joy and sort of infuse that in all aspects of like the characters and really embrace, with that sense of, not escapism exactly, but fun in the show. And, it's the Scooby Gang and, all these different elements that I think work together to create this really special balance between, these great stakes and also these moments of levity and this fun that we have on the show.
Yeah, and then like, okay, these last couple of episodes, some levity like really crept in from you, at least. Just your deadpan delivery of a couple of lines, and it was unexpected. I mean, how was that for you to play that? You had been, I won't say dour, and I won't say sour either, but you had been stern, and now you're still stern, but you're playing this kind of levity in these things. How did that feel for you?
I mean, it felt normal. The guy's from a different planet, and he's just, people are saying things that he just doesn't understand or can't comprehend, kind of. So it's like, he's still trying to be stern, but analyze it and define it a certain way. So just, when I was doing it, I was like, wait a second. Okay, and then that's how it came across. It wasn't like I planned it out, so it was nice.
There was a scene in episode 9 that I've watched probably, over the course of it 50 times. And the scene of Cranston and Alex where they talk about these suits makes me laugh literally every time I watch it. 50 times.
Jill always laughs at her own jokes. It's the best thing ever. It's the best thing ever. Like when Mary Charles delivers a line and Jill's just behind the monitor laughing with the back of the cheek rolling. It's just so great. It's so great.
So you brought up the suits. I was trying to keep it in, but I have to talk about the suits. Okay, so that was this mauve number. I'm like, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? It has a little tie with here to here. Okay. Talk to me about this. I don't even have a real question. I just want to talk about it.
Well, so I'm a huge fan of the wardrobe, first and foremost. I'm so thankful that they have me looking so well dressed. So I love that aspect, but I remember going into the fitting and seeing that number, and I was like, with this right here, and me and the stylist were like, okay, this one's different, it won't make it, but we're just gonna take a picture anyway for Ava to look at. And sure enough, I show up in to go to set that day, and it's in the trailer waiting for me, and I was like, okay, they picked this one. And I'm not really big on how they dress me, because I feel like, I dress how I want in my own real life. This is part of the character, so I never give them an issue about how I'm dressed. But it's so funny, I've gotten so much love off of that suit that I thought was not one of the nicest ones. People are like, is that your Easter suit? Just these different things. And they told us that we looked like we were about to have a concert, like we were an R&B group, showing up at the door. We was in the entertainment, so. But yeah, I like the dress, and it's just kind of fun getting really classy and everything like that.
They weren't wrong.
It was funny. I didn't know what he was going to wear, and he didn't know what I was going to wear, because it was like the first time I didn't wear black. I'm glad to say it. But he looked at me, I looked at him, and he's like, "You're wearing leather," and I'm like, "You got a seatbelt on." You know what it goes? And then we're just like, all right, whatever. We went with it.
That was hilarious.
So, has anything about playing these characters taught you anything about yourself?
It's a great question.
Yes.
This can go really deep, or this can go really fun.
Pick a side.
I'll start on the fun side. It taught me that I love to wear Jordans, because Naomi wears Jordans like every single episode. And then I think it also taught me just to have more compassion for everyone. Everyone has a different background. Everyone has a different perspective on something. So, Naomi's somebody who, even if you're the bad guy, she doesn't judge you for it. So I think it's really important to have compassion for other people, and this role has definitely helped me with that and reminded me to do that.
For me, the tagline of the show, don't believe everything you think, kind of subconsciously, I guess I thought I had that thought process, but now consciously I think that that's kind of something more that I'm doing in my everyday life is just get out and do your own research. Get out and explore things for yourself, and don't just always assume that, someone tells you this, that it has to be that way. They could be correct or they could be incorrect. So, just kind of get out and explore more.
Yes. It taught me patience. So how to be patient and serene, and I guess the philosophy of Zen, because he's a teacher, right? And he was also a person who wasn't very nice at one point. And when he meets Naomi, it changes him. So just learn patience, and you don't have to always act on something. You can just pause and take your time and then think about it. So it's from the great writing of Jill.
So, Jill, it's a fairly new property, right? The Naomi character. And after one season of the graphic novel, then here you are adapting it to television. And I feel as if this is one of those teen characters that has been brought to talk to a new generation, as some other teen characters were brought in the annals of comics, years and years and years ago. So, what do you want people to take away from this show and the writing behind it? Like, what are you trying to say?
Yeah, I mean, I loved the comic book from like the first moment I read it because it did feel so different and contemporary and fresh in a way that I hadn't read it, something I hadn't read in a long time. I'm gonna take a little bit of Cranston's answer, which is the tagline of the show is "Don't believe everything you think," and that's always been our North Star in terms of the writing, in terms of everything we do on the show, which is we want people to challenge their assumptions about the world and about what it means to be a hero and about what it means to be an ally, what it means to be a villain, and really just have people watch the show and be entertained, but come away thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't. Why do I assume this about someone? Why do I believe what I believe? Maybe things aren't what they seem, and to really challenge people to interrogate what they think of the show.
I like that. Yeah. I mean, you guys are getting the right questions up here. So, I'm back at you, Jill.
Oh no!
So here I come. So, for the fans, especially the ones in this hall,
Okay.
what can you tell us about Easter eggs that we may have missed? Help us, please help us.
I think, some of the early ones, particularly the first episodes, Commander Steele was an Easter egg. We did Kryptoni's writing, which is on Naomi's birth rock. This isn't an Easter egg from the comic, but it was an Easter egg that I think is really cool, which is that, the wonderful artist who do the comic, Jamal Campbell, so talented, his work is beautiful. So in Naomi's locker on the show, and also hanging in her bedroom is a picture of Superman, and Jamal was kind enough to make that for us. And so that's a fun Easter egg that we love having in the show. And then, there's some fun Easter eggs too that we, the Thanagarian, there's actually quite a few Easter eggs in these tattoos that we did intentionally with the Thanagarian symbol. And then we also just tried to do, certain, like I said, I was such a fan of the comic, we did homages to the comic as well, in the sense of that scene where Naomi and her parents are driving out to the woods was something that really resonated with me in the comics. We wanted to keep that. The scene at the dam in the pilot was based on that beautiful spread where it was Naomi and all her friends. So those are a few I can think of off the top of my head.
The one that always struck me was when Naomi was telling Annabelle that she had the powers. It was almost note for note, and I was really interested in getting the answer from you because I wanted to know the rest. I didn't know all the rest. So I am going to ask each of you something. What drew you to working on this show besides an audition?
I'll start, yes. I'm a fan of Babies. I really like Queen Sugar was, I think, well, Selma was the first thing that I think that I saw. Queen Sugar and When They See Us, always been a fan of her work. I got to meet her probably about, I think, 3 years almost to the day of me getting cast in the show. It was my first time meeting her when I first auditioned for her, which was When They See Us. And really just loved her energy in that room and during that audition. She was just very, she just empowered me as an artist. We really bounced some ideas off each other. Just had a really nice session. And so it kind of was something that I was looking forward to. Once it came back around, and the character, I just never had heard of Naomi because I wasn't really big into comic books growing up. So reading this story about Naomi and reading the comic and this Zimbardo character, which is different in the comics, but it was just, I was like, this is kind of coming full circle, and I'm really excited about this opportunity, and then it came to fruition, and just very honored to be this special group of people on this special show, special fans, so thankful.
I think, what especially what you just said about Miss Ava. Miss Ava is someone who I've always looked up to. I saw Selma in the 4th grade with my family, and I just remember loving the movie and then seeing when they see us and seeing all of her work, and I've always wanted to work with her. And when I first got that audition email, I'm going to talk about the audition really quickly. When I first got the audition email, I kept reading it, it just kept getting better. It's like, Miss Ava, who I've always wanted to work with, CW, DC, and I love CW DC shows, genuinely. So, it was an honor for me, but when I really read the character description and I read the size is when I really truly fell in love. I think that there are a lot of Naomi's in real life, but we're not always, especially girls in my skin color, reflected like that in TV. And to see this character, and even in the audition sides, there was nothing crazy superhero about it. Just seeing her character and seeing her heart and knowing that she's starting off as someone who is intelligent, someone who has confidence, someone who's smart, someone who's loved, without her powers, and the power being within herself was something that was truly inspiring to me. And I'd never seen a role like this, especially just for a black girl too. So I remember reading it and just being like, whoever books this role, this is going to be so great for them, and I can't wait to see them shine. And then I booked the role. But thank you. Yeah, I'm just so grateful to be within this CW DC universe because it's truly special, and to work with everyone here and the rest of the cast and our wonderful crew and Miss Ava, of course, it's really special because this has been like an experience like no other.
Sometimes things fit, and I was in such a scramble, and I had no idea what was going on. But when I was reading the sides, I was like, wow, this fits. Like, I didn't really have to sit and memorize too much. It just kind of rolled off the tongue. And then, I didn't know that Ava was going to be on the call for the callback. So then, when I was like, okay, let's do it, and then Ava pops up, and I was like, so, once that happened, I was like, all right, look, this is some serious stuff. We've got DC, we've got the first black female superhero. Let's pick this up. But even when I did the audition on Zoom, it was like back and forth, like natural, quick, just fit. So I think things are meant to be. They just key unlocks and take off and go.
Oh, me? Yeah, I mean, like all of these wonderful people said, I mean, working with Ava was something that immediately excited me about the project and has continued to, exceed expectations throughout. And I would say, creatively, what I thought was so interesting about the show was really telling a true origin story about this young woman over the course of, 13 episodes, particularly the first season, where it's not something I had seen as much, where we really focused on her character and focused on Naomi as a person and like what would a normal girl, do if she discovered that she had superpowers. And I found her to be so relatable just from the beginning. I mean, I love the fact that she's a Superman stan because like so great, and just to have this character in a comic book who like feels so normal and feels so grounded, and so looking ahead at what this season could become and all these interesting characters that populated the world, like from Dee and Tabata and the parents and her friends. There was just so much creatively to explore that I was just so excited about it.
Well, I've been excited to watch, and I'm going to say again that the first few episodes felt like they were laying the groundwork, they were building up to something, right? The last few have really took off in a major way. So now, have you all seen episode 9? Okay. I've seen it, that's all that matters. So, episode 9 just had this revelation that has flipped everything again, like from the first episode where everything in Naomi's life changed, and now everything is about to change again. What do you guys feel about that? How did you feel when you read that?
See, I knew the whole time. And it was crazy because I had to keep the secret from the rest of the cast because you don't want those things to get out. I remember when I had lunch with Miss Ava before I booked the role. I'm from New York, so she flew me in from LA, and I had lunch with her and my mom. And she was telling me about the show, and I hadn't even booked the role yet, and she dropped that bomb on me, and I was sitting at the table, and I was like, yeah. And basically, filming that was a lot different because Naomi has this history with her parents. And when I read it, it really kind of, I had an emotional reaction as Casey, let alone Naomi, you know. And then in the later episodes, it plays so much more, but then that brings up so many different questions based on, you know, knowing who our parents truly are. So I think filming it, I just wanted to keep in mind, you know, that she has a history with these people and she's grown up with her parents, and also just to tell the most truthful story within that circumstance.
I mean, those parents are standing there for those of you, I'm going to help you out.
Yeah, I didn't want to say
Her parents are standing there holding these glowing rocks, seemingly causing this man to bleed from his nose, which tells us, A, that maybe they're not human, maybe, I don't know, but it tells us that her parents have been hiding even more secrets. So therein, the whole thing is upended again. So with them, with that happening, Jill, where do we go?
No.
I put you on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, I think sort of as Casey said, it's a real turning point in the season, and it's certainly not something that goes away or is resolved immediately. I think the repercussions are felt throughout the last, third of the season, for the last 4 episodes. And I think, more than anything, it rocks Naomi to her core emotionally in a way that we haven't seen, even, when she found out, oh, I'm not human. I mean, it's such a, her parents, these people she's loved and trusted her whole life, to find out they've been keeping, like I said, even more secrets from her, really challenges her on sort of this deep emotional level, and she really wrestles with that in the next few episodes.
Okay, but where do we go? Thank you guys so much. And I hope that you, the fans, have been thinking of the questions that you want to ask, because that starts now. Anyone?
Hello, over here. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. First of all, welcome to Wondercon. It's so fantastic to have you here, so thank you for spending time with us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
I just spent the last 24 hours watching the first 9 episodes, so my brain is all over the place, so pardon if I'm a little incoherent. First of all, the show's wonderful. It's been a really fun watch so far. I have like so many questions, but I can only ask one. I guess I'll ask Jill, it's been pretty explicitly kind of stated that this show, at least at this point, is not connected to the Arrowverse or whatever you want to refer to it as. However, in the first several episodes, if you're familiar with those shows or the comics, there's been some things that are dropped along the way. I don't want to say specifically because I want people here to go watch the show. But I'm wondering, the aspiration of, do we start to see other people? Is the hope that, not so much the Arrowverse proper, but are we going to maybe start to see the manifestation of some of these other characters that Naomi is a fan of in her world, perhaps?
Good answer.
I think, and Ava has said this too, certainly the first season doesn't feature any, I would say, as we call them, crossovers. We really wanted to get to know, as we're calling it, the Naomi-verse, and live in her world and build her world first. Beyond that, in terms of future seasons, what's so wonderful about the world of DC is I think it's so vast and so interconnected, and so I think, nothing is ever off the table.
Good answer. Good answer.
Hello everyone, my name is Nico, aka Oswald Cobblepot as a penguin in the Victorian era from San Diego. I just want to say welcome to the DC universe, and it's an honor to meet you all in person. So this is a two-part question, and it goes out to the whole cast of Naomi and the screenwriters of Naomi. Will there be more action, epic battle scenes throughout any season that any one of the characters who are in the show as of right now? And if you guys can pick a cast member in CW, Superman and Lois, who would it be for a crossover episode?
Great question. Well, Superman Stan.
Yeah. What was the beginning part of the question?
Will there be more epic battles?
Yes. What's so great about the ones that we have here is a lot of times, Jill's so great at writing, and the writer's room is so great that the fight scenes can't just be described as the fight. There's a lot of emotion that goes into it, so, in this last episode, you see that Naomi's upset. So she can react in a certain way, and I think that the fights that are in the later season, a lot of them are triggered by emotion, which I think creates the best fights. Besides the physical action, which is super great to have in a superhero TV show, we have that, but I think it's so great when it's a fight based on emotion. And then Superman and Lois, of course, Superman.
Yeah.
Superman too. That would be great.
Batman.
I think Superman for me. That's so iconic. Yeah. I would like to do a scene with Superman.
Hey guys, my name's Greg. I just want to see if Naomi or Dee, whatever you refer to it by the superhero names, like Powerhouse and Hawkman, and if Hawkman will ever hit his mace.
That mace is pretty powerful.
I think that Powerhouse is the coolest name ever, and I would love to see Powerhouse in the show someday.
We have some metal Easter eggs coming up.
Yeah, we do.
So I think the fans will be excited about that.
Which is the strongest substance in the DC universe.
Alex always does his homework.
Exactly.
And in case you guys haven't seen the Justice League with Naomi, I suggest you guys read up on it because you'll see how strong she is compared to everybody else.
Is Naomi ever going to be Superman's friend?
I would love to be always Superman's friend. I think in her heart, she's Superman's friend. She's always looked up to Superman, and he's adopted and she's adopted, and she can see herself within him, and he's always been like her hero. So I think if he was her friend in real life, that would be her wildest dream. But I think he's always been a friend in her heart.
My name is Jacob. I wanted to ask Casey, what does she enjoy most about being Naomi?
That's a good question. I think what I enjoy most is that there's so many different layers to her. She has these powers and things like that, but she has a drive and she has a passion, and when someone tells her no, that doesn't mean she's going to stop. And I've always looked up to superheroes like, Supergirl, who do the right thing and have a great moral compass. So I love, going into her, always doing the right thing and following her heart. And then I think that I love doing the superhero aspects. It makes me feel, it just makes, as an actor, you use your imagination, so it's a great form of using your imagination, and it's so cool.
In D&D terms, what would Naomi's alignment be?
What was the question?
In D&D terms, what would Naomi's alignment be?
I think you guys should answer that. I don't know the answer to that, but I should.
What do you think it would be?
What do you think it would be? Do you have any?
I mean, I think lawful good, but maybe a little bit neutral.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Marcus. This is, I think, mostly for Jill. In the comics, when Naomi's powers first manifest, she immediately gets her superhero costume, which, of course, in the comics works really well. So are we maybe, possibly, building up to that at some point, maybe at the end of the season?
Say yes. Say yes.
I also enjoy the comic. Or student of the comic. I think you're gonna have to tune in.
Okay.
I would like to thank you for that question. Well, I do have more questions if you're willing to take them.
Sure.
Yes. Y'all know I like to go in. I've been showing you. So, Jill.
I think we're gonna.
Was it, I know it was fun, but how much fun was it for you to take this character and the entire story and kind of just like mold it differently than the comic?
I mean, it's been, I'm like, you know, without getting too sappy or anything, like it has been sort of the best job of my career that really hasn't felt like a job. And I think, you know, from the very beginning when I met with Ava about this, collaborating with Ava on this, until right this moment, you know, every step of the way has been so much fun. Like, I love superhero shows, I love action shows, I love genre shows. It was really like my dream. And to be able to, you know, collaborate with Ava and these amazing writers and directors and our crews, and then, like, as a writer, really the greatest gift you could ever have is have actors who, like, elevate the work and elevate your words. And so to be able to watch them bring to life, like, the scripts and make them, like, 10 times better is just, I love it so much, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it.
And for you to be able to stand behind the monitor and laugh at your jokes.
And to be what?
For you to be able to stand behind the monitor and laugh at your own jokes.
Oh yes, I do that. It's because they're so funny. I'm like, is this going to be funny when I write it? And then they deliver it up like this.
Casey, what's been your most favorite thing to do as a Naomi yet?
For the episodes right now.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of fun at the end of the season.
I mean, I want to know, but
I would say my favorite thing is just uncovering different parts of her. You know, she's a completely different person in the pilot versus, like, let's say episode 9, because episode 9 just came out. Every episode she's uncovering something different, and what I love is that while she's uncovering it, the audience is uncovering it. And I also love building her different relationships. These are like her two, like, cool uncles. And, you know, building her relationship with everyone in her life and how that relates to her being super and her getting these powers. And that's been really fun, you know, exploring, and also our cast and our crew is just amazing, amazing people. So that's always a joy.
so it's not the love rectangle.
I mean,
It's not the love rectangle.
Rectangle?
Yes, I said it's a love rectangle
oh,
because
the
no one.
love square.
Yes, I don't know what the love square is. I call it a love rectangle because no one is the same distance away from Naomi at one
I
time.
like that.
I was, you know, people tell me about the love square, but now we can refer to it as the love
Rectangle.
I like that.
I like that. I think that right now in the show, Naomi's with Nathan, and I think that she's young. She's a teenager, and these love interests, based on how her life is going, may not be the best thing for her right now. But it is a decision that she made. While all these decisions in her life are being made for her, she didn't choose to have these powers. She didn't choose to find out, uncover all these things about herself. those are decisions that she's making, and there's power within that. So, you know, she said in the first episode, they're all her friends. She loves them all as friends first, and I think that there are a lot of love interests in the picture, but Naomi's truly with someone who she feels benefits her right now.
Okay. because I saw that look that you shared with Lourdes. I'm sorry, that Naomi shared with Lourdes in episode 9. I saw that look. So.
You're gonna have to watch. You're gonna have to continue watching.
So, Alex, can I call you that?
Sure.
Okay. Where did you find that voice for Dee? It should be on the call now.
I heard that. He's much bigger than me. He's like 6'8" or something like that. He's huge. So I was like practicing in the mirror. I was like, brr, brr, brr. You know, it doesn't work. I was like, oh. So, you know, as it went, we were rehearsing, doing it. It just kind of came out. I guess from the calmness, projection of it. That's it. Nothing really special.
Dude, Alex is one of the most prepared actors, so I will say that. He's always prepared and always does a lot of work, and you can definitely see that.
I tried.
So what are you guys looking forward to yourselves? Like, we know what the fans kind of are, you know, what they're looking forward to because of the questions they're asking Jill. But, you know, what are you looking forward to play? Do you want to go back to that club in Zugato?
I absolutely want to go back to our 29. Some of my best days were on our 29. Don't get me started on that, but yes, I would love to see that. And I just want, I'm a fan also. I'm a fan of these guys. I'm a fan of Jill. So I'm a fan of Barry, Miles, and everyone on the show. So I just enjoy watching these guys, you know, because I've read the scripts, but like Jill was saying, it's a surprise when you get to see how they bring it to life, their interpretations, when you get to work with them and seeing the scenes that you weren't a part of. So I'm ready to see how this thing is gonna, you know, episode 9 ended with a bang, like you said. I'm ready to see 10 and see how this plays out.
Well, is there something, Jill, that you want to tell us?
Something. Is it about my shirt? I'm wearing a Leon's comment.
How's your shirt?
In terms of what's coming.
Yes. Is there something that you can give us? Because this sign is telling me last question.
Okay. All right. I can say this little tidbit that you know, in episode 8, Jacob discovers Naomi's secret. He will not be the last one to discover the secret this season.
Oh.
There you go.
Thank you, Jill. So, as this panel concludes, I have some requests of this audience, of the fans. Come back and watch Naomi when it returns on the CW, 9, 8 Central, or on the CW app, which is free. And thank you all for indulging me today.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it once again for our special panel presentation of Naomi. And also to our